Cinegear started well. I got my favorite seat on Southwest. I met some other traveling attendees from the Bay Area who are into green power, and I rented an electric Polestar at Burbank. I went down a day early and was invited out for drinks by Dave Donaldson of Grip Tips. We both look extra big in the shoulder. There's Scott, too. Then it was off to the Kinaflow open house where I saw an old friend, the young and very smart Sam Slade and his business partner Santana. It was great to meet young folks ready to learn and share their love of filmmaking. Missed the cinematography salon soiree, but got a good night's sleep at a simple, clean motel with a good Mexican restaurant next door. At Cinegear, it's fun to have people come up and say hello. Foolishly, I don't write down all their names. We were back at Paramount, so the whole vibe was up and positive. At this point, the lines of friendship have blurred between both attendees and exhibitors. We're all working hard to make a living with the best gear we can afford, alongside as many cool cats as possible. This year, I wanted to interview some attendees as well. So that's the theme of this 300th episode, Hangin' with Film Friends.
Transferred from De Anza in Cupertino down to LA, and almost immediately from school was just working on anything I can. And the first way I knew how to work was just get into lighting. There's always a spot available. Started gripping, started doing some electric stuff, but I found my heart at grip.
What brings you to Cinegear?
Just seeing the boys, you always get to realize how small of a world it is because you recognize everyone at every corner, every company at every corner, and it's just fun to see everybody. As things have been a little slower this year with the strike and everything, but getting to see everyone in person and have smiles, and yeah, it's great. And the gear's cool too.
Anything jumping out at you?
Definitely really interested in this active diffusion. It's a 4x. They also have a 2x size as well. And the biggest question is it grip or electric? What is it? Grip and electric are they keep blending and blending and blending. One of these days we're all just going to be one department. But as of right now, we're still strong. There's a very clear divide, and who knows how long that stays there. But yeah.
Are you grip company agnostic?
My heart is at Matthews, but sometimes American Grip really will pull me the other direction. So it's always really exciting seeing Matthews come up with new innovative gear, even modern studio too. But Matthews is just a solid company. They've always done me right and never done me wrong.
Wish you all the luck in your career.
You too. Thank you so much.
Sometimes trade shows are the only place you're going to see something on a large scale. Here is an array of 9 Aladdin mosaic flex lights working together in pixel mode.
I'm here with a bunch of guys who stopped me here at Cinegear, and let me just have them introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Advaid and I'm from India.
I'm Siddharth, I'm from New Delhi, India.
My name is Saran, I'm also from New Delhi, India.
My name is Zishan, I'm from India.
My name is Nandan and I'm from Goa, India.
Now, you say you're from India, but aren't you living here now?
Yeah.
What are you guys doing here?
I am working as a script supervisor currently in the industry, yeah.
No kidding.
I'm a film student, but I want to be a cinematographer.
I'm also a film student and I want to be a writer-director.
I'm a cinematography student and I usually do the first AC.
I'm Nandan, I'm DP and I work in industry as well.
Cool, so you guys are here from India, and why the heck did you come to the States when you've got this amazing film, world in India?
So I don't know, I feel like there is just more creative freedom that I could explore here, and a couple more opportunities that I could take up. And I never worked in India in the industry, so I just thought this would be a good start for me.
What's your feeling on it?
I feel the States are more forward in the technology, so at one point I'll definitely improvise India utilizing the technology in USA. So one day I'll go back and definitely do some good shit with that, yeah.
So is the idea to sort of learn your craft here and then bring it home, or are you thinking you want to stay here or go to another country, doesn't matter?
I mean, I want to stay here, I love working here. So yeah, because I didn't work in India like him, so all I got, my first-hand knowledge was from LA, so I just want to work here now. Yeah.
That's awesome. What's your feeling on it?
I mean, when I work as a gaffer or a producer, I would love to work here, but as a writer, and a director, I would go back to India because all my stories come from my hometown and everything is just connected to India in that way.
I love that. Yeah, and why not make it a global situation, right? and the more stories we can share from around the world, the better community we become, right? Yeah. Appreciate the love, but where are the gaps in the knowledge that you wish people would have? Like, I'm not going to be on big sets for the most part, probably, right? I just stay on these small sets. After a while, I think, like, what more do people want? Is there something I'm missing?
We definitely want a topic that has to be covered. It's a cherry picker or a condor, how to light a big set or a big road, something of that sort. Completely from scratch, building like a cage, building like a truss, and then putting lots of light on that, and just going up on condor or a cherry picker would be great.
I'd like to see more comparisons between lights, because that's how sometimes because I usually go to whatever I'm comfortable with. So I've been comfortable with sky panels, and I've never been introduced to cream sources. So I would like to see what the output difference is, and how the CRI compares, how the UI compares. So I feel like that would be really interesting for me.
Another thing adding up is something, if you could make a video just on DMX channeling and how entire thing works, how a board works on set, that would add a lot of value to us for sure. On a bigger stage, consider like where it's like multiverses coming to your board. Something of that complicated stuff, we would love to watch, 100%.
Excellent. Hey, thanks so much, you guys.
Cinegear is the perfect place to get hands-on with new equipment, especially if you're from a smaller market and you don't have large rental houses that have all the latest stuff. Coming here gives you that tangible interaction with new gear. And you meet other people who have the same passion for equipment and bettering their skills, like you. What's fun is when you come across a piece of gear that you were not expecting, but have been looking forward to for a really long time.
Hi, I'm Christian. So I work at MQ, based in the Philippines. We are a photo video distributor for a lot of products here at Cinegear, and one of them is Ari, for example, and Nunlux. And yeah, it's really great to be here. What's new, what's exciting, I think will be the virtual production. So everyone's getting into that. So we want to see how each brand is taking into this new application. We build studios. And so we distribute also products to dealers for prosumer, consumer, and professional to high-end for the whole Philippine market.
Cool. And now this is a family affair? You're here with your folks?
Yep. So I'm here with my parents, Warren, and also with my mom over there. Yeah, so it's a family business for 36 years now. But the company actually started in selling bulbs. So our company is actually called MQ Lightings. So company started selling bulbs and filters. When customers wanted us to supply more than just bulbs, we went into finding the right partner for lighting fixtures, for Fresnels, then later on moved on cameras, to tripods, and maybe eventually after many years we're happy to be the partner for many of the reputable brands in the world, including Manfrotto, Avenger, Matthews, Ari, Kinoflow, ETC, Nunlight, Nunlux, and many more.
What kinds of productions happen there?
I would say we're growing. Definitely we have pretty much all of the latest equipment in the Philippines, so we're privileged to have two big rentals that are always up to date with the equipment. In terms of production, we also have films in Netflix, I would say. We have some feature films, and we also get some nominations for film festivals as well. So we're getting there.
Fantastic. Hey, thanks so much for spending some time with us.
Yeah, thank you. I'm a pleasure.
You get to meet people in person you may have only interacted with online or haven't seen in a long time.
Have we put on the adapter yet? I haven't done it.
I found out it works well with...
Hi, I'm Tucker Anderson. I'm a DP primarily and also recently started my own filter company. We do 4x5 cinema filters at a more accessible cost to filmmakers with the features of the high-end ones. Yeah, primarily shooting commercials, music videos, documentaries, but also doing the filter thing as a bit of a side hustle. I grew up in Canada and British Columbia, shooting a lot of action sports stuff, documentary, outdoors, using the beautiful mountains that Canada and British Columbia provide. And now I live in Los Angeles and getting more into higher-end commercial stuff and ultimately movies.
So now you had the dream of getting into larger production maybe. There's a lot of production going on in like Vancouver, so why here?
I'm fortunate enough to be a dual citizen, so I can hop the border and work on both sides really easily. I do actually go back to Vancouver for shoots quite a bit for various commercials, just because I do have a lot of contacts there from spending a lot of time there growing up, and my start in the industry was near there as well. LA is just kind of to fulfill the dream, you know, like everyone talks about coming to Los Angeles and becoming a filmmaker, and I had to go and find out for myself if that was a possibility.
So how on earth did filters come about?
Came about as a desire of mine. I wanted to purchase a set of 4x5 NDs because I knew it would be something, because it's an industry standard size, I know I could use it in my career now and use it, you know, the day that I am shooting those big feature films that I one day hope to. And I was looking at what was out there, and the cost really didn't seem justified to me. I felt like it's a piece of glass, and while yes, it's super technical and has to be super color accurate, I knew there was a better way to do it. And in conjunction with that, the pandemic happened, so I had a lot of time on my hands, losing all my freelance gigs along with everybody else in the industry. And so it was an optimal, perfect storm of having the time to be able to dive down that rabbit hole and learn and research and partner with the manufacturer and engineers to make it happen. And that was, I just created this perfect storm to sort of get that off the ground. And then fast forward 3 years of chipping away at it on the side, and we just launched a couple months ago, so yeah.
That's huge, because manufacturing is not an easy deal.
No, it's not, and it's not my area of expertise, and launching a product is much more difficult than offering a service as a cinematographer. But if you spend the time to search around and partner with the right people, you can create pretty much anything you can imagine, which is quite amazing. What is my love life like? Currently non-existent. I spend a lot of time working, to be honest. And it's not that I don't want that, but I don't put the time into it, and I'm honest with myself about that. Like, if I actually wanted to go, find somebody, I should put more time into it, and I'm okay just not doing that right now. I enjoy being single. It provides a lot of freedom in my life, so yeah, that would be my answer to that question.
I know it's a crazy question, but it's like often when you follow your dreams, some things fall away, and so sure. That's like a loss. But then you're also gaining all that time and attention and focus onto your dream, and so you're talking real.
Absolutely, it's a tricky thing, like the work-life balance. It is ultimately like nobody wants to work their whole life, even if you love what you do. You gotta have a break from it, and that's something that I think a lot of creatives and people that are freelance that create their own schedule struggle with. And I've been fortunate enough to sort of figure out what I feel like is a good balance with where I'm at now, and I'm sure that'll change 5-10 years from now. But yeah, your priorities just fall into place, and I feel like become clear based on what your actions are and what you do with your time. So yeah.
Sounds like you got a good head on your shoulders, and you'll do just fine.
I appreciate that. I'll try. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm just going to keep at it.
All right. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Right on. Thanks, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
So now you have to do how-to interviews with your filters.
Okay. Well, physics. Unfortunately, we'll have to come up with the 90-degree lens that Luke is going to be asking for, and then no one is going to buy it.
Exactly. No one's going to buy it. How did you know exactly what I was going to say?
But it's just the fact that we're making it.
My name is Peter Chapman. I'm a freelance cinematographer DP based out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I also work internally at an ad agency out there as their DP in-house and shoot commercial photography. as well as some short films and some feature projects out there as well.
What the hell's going on in South Dakota?
Oh, right. A lot of small crews, smaller client budgets, so it's kind of fast and nimble. We do push more towards the higher end commercial realm, or at least I try to make my work look that way out there. And yeah, it's usually a little bit smaller, so like if I have 4 in G&E, I'm usually like, hey, I'm happy with that, and you guys can run around and set up the lights for me so we can make this look as best as we can. I'll run all the camera stuff, so I usually swing in a lot. So all my freelancers that I bring on as crew, they're great, but they're also shooters and producers themselves. So
I went to college in Northwest Iowa, in Sioux Center, at a place called Dordt.
Yes.
Now it's Dordt University.
Yeah, one of my friends went to Dordt College for animal science, so he does stuff with cows now, which is kind of crazy. But
do you own gear? How does gear work in your life?
Yeah, we've got mainly 2 people that have like the higher end gear. We really have Tracy with Gator Grip and Lighting is kind of our main gaffer that owns gear, rental gear across the state, and he is based out of Rapid City on the west side of the state. But also will work locally in Sioux Falls, and then he's off to Minneapolis and Wyoming working on like local, I don't know the local unions there, but yeah, he'll work on union films and commercials as well. So I use him on a lot of my commercial projects. Our biggest light is really an M18, and that's what we got. We got like 2 of them in the state. So then we're like trying to rent from Minneapolis and pull from there. My ad agency that I work with, Epicosity, we have 2 Airy Sky panels that we got years ago. They're the black editions for the studio work, but I love them because then we know which ones are ours on set. But yeah, the panels have been great as far as being able to have more lights on set. We have to own it to have that flexibility even to shoot with it or be able to light to change our shots or our scenes.
Awesome. Hey, thanks so much for talking to us.
Between the indoor stages and outdoor booths along the so-called New York streets, as well as the water tank, Paramount is a good fit for Cinegear. Then I stayed an extra day in order to check out Matthew's garage sale. And also Hot Rod Camera's annual Cinegear event. Good times for sure.
Meet the Gaffer has just always been such a solid channel that I've been watching since 2015, 2016. So, gosh, I don't know if you even remember your videos back then, but yeah, we're all learning together, and it's awesome to see you play with the new gear that I look forward to working with in a few years at that time.
We open YouTube and we find something that's very not available on anything, and it's more like for me, my favorite video of Meet the Gaffer would be the electrical distribution, where I was so I used to work in India and completely new circuits, completely 240 volt circuits, and everything changed for me here when I came here, and I didn't know what cam locks are. I didn't know how things work, and the first thing we do is like before going to anyone else is like, oh, YouTube. So I was like, okay, let me search this out, and I found your channel, and where we spoke up, like we saw power distribution, how to run power from generator, and heavy lights and all those things that came to play every time we work on set now. So thank you.
That's fun.
Yeah.
How about you?
Of course, being a cinematography student, lighting is a very most important component when it comes to being a director of photography. So not everything is taught in film school, but yeah, Meet the Gaffer.
For me, it was Nandan who introduced me to Meet the Gaffer, and that was again because we both were actually working for a generator for the first time, and we wanted to learn what it is. We wanted to learn everything that he wanted us to do on set. So that's how we know Meet the Gaffer.
I feel like you're almost in the niche market, but because there's not too many people talking about specifically grip equipment and gear and setups. So finding your channel was a real backdoor and eye-opening, and kind of figuring out like, hey, how am I going to rig something with overheads, and like, what is a Cheeseboro clamp and how do I use it to get a shot? So. knowing what gear is available is like half the battle, because otherwise you don't know what problem-solving solutions are out there. So for a smaller market like ours, coming to an event like this at Cinegear, seeing what's available allows us to get that on that production and reach out to the bigger rental houses that can ship it out. You know, I'm not going in to do a camera test because I can't drive the 4 hours to Minneapolis to sit down for a day, because it's 4-hour drive back. So I'm either staying the night or driving back really late. So camera prep isn't as much of a thing, so we're not able to quite test. So seeing the actual live applications is really big for us.
The first time I was gaffing was about a year ago today, and I was kind of intimidated because before that I was just a gripped in a couple of student shoots. So, and it was for Nandan, he was DPing, and so I was just trying to figure out literally everything from scratch because I didn't want to mess up anything. So I've watched through almost every video you have, and like literally, because sometimes you can't get your hands on to lights, so it's good that I can go to your channel, I can look at the comparison between an M40 and a 1200D, and I can see how stuff performs before I can actually put my hands on it. I also got the opportunity to work with a tow plant generator, so the distribution video was my only experience that I had before
like
I
the Bible
jumped in.
for him.
Yeah, literally. I watched it again and again so that I don't blow up the entire set. So that was everything I learned is basically from Meet the Gaffer.
That's too funny.
I mean, wow, these guys already spoke about whatever I wanted to speak, but in general, if I would talk about specific, the biggest thing that I learned was the difference between a color meter and a light meter, because I had no idea. I was starting from zero when I moved to LA like 6 years ago, and my introduction to lighting and technology in lighting was Meet the Gaffer.
YouTube is just a wealth of knowledge in terms of like learning about new equipment or new cinematography techniques. Like there's so much out there, and so many talented people that are just sharing information out there. And that really is kind of what the film industry is all about, in my opinion, is like passing it along. Like you go get coffee with somebody and they explain how to do something that you've never done before, or you're in over your head on a job and you call somebody. And I think that YouTube and the internet and Meet the Gaffer and people that share that information are just another form of like spreading the information love, so to speak. So yeah, it's super valuable stuff, and I appreciate what you do. So thanks.
Fantastic. It's a different type of love life.
Exactly, yeah. More industry relevant, for sure.
Whenever there's a new product released, Meet the Gaffer is one of the best YouTube channels to get unbiased opinion on the products, and not technical related, although some are technical, but more about how you use it on set. So more on operation and how you can, how easy it is to use, how practical it is to use. So it's all about Meet the Gaffer.
Now, do you watch Andrew Locke as well?
Oh yeah. so for technical, yeah.
So shout out Andrew Locke and tell him he's got to come to Cinegear.
Hi Andrew, you should drop by here. Everyone's missing you. Yeah.
Andrew Locke, you gotta come to Cinegear next year.
Make it to the Cinegear next year, Andrew Locke.
I'll definitely see you at Cinegear next year.
We miss you, Andrew.
Hey, come soon, man. There's a lot you missing out here.
Hey, Andrew Locke, you gotta get out here to Cinegear. Come on. It's so much fun. There's other Aussies here, I know.
Yeah, so this is the product we launched with. The company's called Element Filters, as you can see on my shirt. We launched with full spectrum ND filters to start. So they're industry standard size. You have 4 by 5.65 inch, 4 millimeter thickness, so they'll fit in any matte box in the industry. We didn't want to make something proprietary. There's companies out there that do that, but then you have to buy their matte box, their filters. You're stuck in their sort of way and have to buy their products. We wanted to make something that could really be used at any scale. What's special about these is not only do they have 7 stops, so you can buy a 0.3 all the way to a 2.1, so it'll cover you on your brightest days if you want to shoot wide open with your aperture. These are hot mirror NDs, which essentially means that the actual mirror, you can see a reflective surface on the filter. actually reflects the infrared light away from the filter rather than filtering it and just reducing it by the amount of stops that your filter has. And the advantage of that is if you're shooting in an environment that has a lot of infrared pollution, you're just going to cut it entirely with this filter. One caveat there is you have to shoot with the mirror side out towards your talent. So when you're putting it in the matte box, logo side, mirror side has to go out. Just a small note for your ACs out there who are loading filters a lot. But otherwise, yeah, we worked really hard to make these as color neutral as possible because that's obviously a huge factor. We don't want it to affect the image. If you visit our website, elementfilters.com, there's comparisons with RE's full spectrum NDs, Tiffin's natural NDs, Tiffin's IR NDs, as well as Schneider's rhodium NDs, because we just want to be transparent about it. You know, we want the consumer to be able to make their decision based on what they see in the product, and so we have side-by-side comparisons with color charts comparing everything that you could possibly want to look at in terms of like color neutrality, which is ultimately the thing. And then the biggest selling point is the price. We wanted to bring it down. All the competitors of the super high-end ones cost around $500 USD per filter. We wanted to cut that way down, so our filters retail for $200 per filter, which is significantly less. And honestly, sometimes people get a little scared by that, which is why we have those comparisons, because it really is just crazy what the margins that these companies are taking away with, and we really wanted to sort of disrupt the industry in that sense and create something that's as good, but that's way more accessible to a bunch of different filmmakers of all kinds.
Far out. And do you have an Instagram?
We do, yeah. It's at Element Filters. All the social media is at Element Filters on Facebook as well, and then elementfilters.com.
Good luck, man.
Thank you, I appreciate it. If you guys have any questions, just shoot us a DM or an email, also elementfilters@gmail.com, and yeah, thanks for featuring it. It's great.